Chapter 250 to 252. Goku-san. Dad. Don't get in the way. I'll take care of both, said Trunks once again, who seemed to want to monopolize all the fun. Black, Zamasu, doesn't matter how he's called or how he looks like. It didn't even matter if they were one or two, or how that was possible. He had in front of him the people responsible for all this disaster. Those who had taken everything from him, including his mother. And they must pay for everything. Poor idiot. You alone? Do you really think that a mere mortal can defeat the true gods of this universe? Said Black, mocking of Trunks, now that his himself with healer specialization were about to do a PvP arena combat 2v1. The true god of this universe has been about to die in my hands a second ago. Do I need to remind you? Trunks said without the intention of mocking about Bulk, his undeserved arrogance or the beating he had given him a few seconds ago in any way. He was physically incapable of joking even at his expense, he just wanted him to stop saying so much bullshit. His voice was disgusting. However, not even that harsh phrase and the tone that Trunks used made a dent in Black's pride, which surpassed Vegeta's in the present, but in the future, that was in the past Trunks. Now it is different. Therefore, once again Black went looking for Trunks to fight. Bomb. Pum. A battle in which. Pam. UAHH. Shouted Black, who felt as if his stomach had been repositioned in his ass because of Trunks' punch. Black was getting beaten up again by Trunks. Boom. Son of a bitch. Shouted Black, who couldn't hit Trunks, he dodged his attacks by very little margin. However, although Trunks clearly had the advantage in both strength and speed, just as he had so far, something was a little different than before. For some reason Black was reacting better than before Zamasu saved him. He couldn't do anything against Trunks, but at the very least he was able to mitigate the damage Trunks did to him. What happened? Has he gotten much stronger than before? Trunks thought as he increased the speed and power of his attacks to destroy Black more quickly. But he wasn't only one who realized about that. Vegeta. Is Black faster and stronger than before, or is it just my imagination? Said Goku to Vegeta, looking for a second opinion. My eyes don't lie then. Has he been hiding his strength until now? Said Vegeta to Broly's omnipresent voice. He hated him, but that son of a bitch always knew everything. No, it must be the Zenkai. It sounds familiar, right Vegeta? Answered Broly's omnipresent voice, that as Vegeta suspected had the answer to his question. The Zenkai? Seriously? At this stage? I thought the Saiyans lost that ability when they reached the Super Saiyan state, said Vegeta, but I did not understand how that was possible. He hadn't been able to activate this natural ability for decades, and neither had Goku. It's like that for normal Saiyans like you and Goku. Zenkai is an ability that allows our body to quickly reach the limit of our physical and spiritual potential. However, it seems that is having an unexpected effect with Black, who at the same time is also Zamasu, a Kai. It is as if Goku's old body is synchronizing with Zamasu's soul and divine energy. And surprisingly the effect is extremely synergistic. Broly's omnipresent voice answered. Omnipresent voice that also reached Trunks, who kept beating Black. I already understand it. That's why sometimes he let me hurt him and then retreat. Damn you. If he has more of these Zenkais it could be a problem. I have to kill him as soon as possible without giving him a chance to recover, thought Trunks, that once again put in the background the desire that he had to make Black suffer to make him disappear once and for all from this world. However, that was something he should have done from the start. Not so fast, shouted Zamasu as he focused his two green hands towards Trunks to perform one of his Kai abilities. A telekinetic power with which to briefly paralyze Trunks. What? I cannot move, shouted Trunks, which was interrupted at the best moment. The moment he was going to give Black the knockout blow. And Black, relieved, happy, hurt and resentful, was not going to miss this opportunity, he. The chance to attack Trunks with all his might. No Trunks! Shouted Vegeta, that could not repress the concern he felt for his alternate son. Watch out! Goku screamed upon see the potential danger. However, it was useless, nothing could stop Black punches now. Pum. Preya am. HaHaHa. Die Trunks. Said Black as he performed a very powerful energy attack a few inches from Trunks. Boom. A devastating attack that created a wide and deep trail of destruction in the direction behind Trunks. However, exclaimed Black upon seeing what he had in front of him. Although Trunks was injured by that last attack, did not affect his fighting ability at all. Boom. Quite the opposite, the fury had completely awakened his murderous instincts. You. As much as to destroy part of the left zone of your enemy with an energy attack. Oh no. Shouted Zamasu upon seeing the deplorable state in which his counterpart was. He must do something quick or else his himself would die even if Trunks didn't to finish him off, like he was about to do right now. Begone. Kai Kai. However, quickly Zamasu teleported near Black, and the two disappeared in the same way. Kai Kai. Boom. What? Where have they gone? Trunks asked rhetorically, very frustrated for being once again interrupted in the best part. However, as compensation his questions was quickly answered. Kai Kai. To heal his wounds, obviously answered Zamasu, which teleported again near Trunks, although at a safe distance from the dangerous Saiyan. And obviously he didn't come alone, at least not technically. Black came with him and was fully recovered. Each time my damaged cells regenerated they become more and more my own. My divine mind and Saiyan body are becoming more connected. If we repeat this process a few more times there will no longer be anyone who can stop me. And all thanks to you. Trunks said Black, with the same arrogance as always after receiving another beating and being saved at the last moment. However, there was something that could not be denied, after each beating he grew stronger. And after that near-death experience, his power had increased considerably, so much so that he began to be a threat. Something that began to disturb the spectators at the foot of the track. Even though Trunks is stronger than the two of them together, he's having a lot of problems, said Vegeta, somewhat disappointed with the situation. You can't blame them, they work very well as a team, after all they are the same dude. Said Goku, defending Trunks from his demanding alternate fathers. This has become more complicated than I thought, but no, it is not the time yet, said Broly's omnipresent voice, who said something that Vegeta and Goku didn't understand. So they continued with their conversation. Come on Trunks, let us fight too, said Vegeta, who believed that this was the best time for his son to put pride aside and accept his help. You can have Black, but at least let us fight with the original Zamasu or whatever. Said Goku, which was so desperate that even tried to negotiate. And certainly those were some pretty convincing arguments that were about to make Trunks change his mind. Or that would have happened if bastard number 1 hadn't intervened. What's wrong Trunks? Do you quit so fast? Is this the only thing you know how to do when you can't control a situation? Run away? Sit down and ask for help? Are you going to always let others fight your wars? Are you going to let others sacrifice themselves for you? Again? Said Broly's omnipresent voice, hitting Trunks right where it hurt the most. Right in a wound that would never heal, no matter how hard he tried. Poison-laden words that they achieved their goal. Sun-san. Dad. I promised Broly-san that I would defeat Zamasu, all Zamasus. That was the condition that he put me to become stronger. And not only for that. I need to do it, it's personal, Trunks said full of determination again. Well done Trunks, that's the spirit, thought the omnipresent voice of Broly as he rubbed his hands. It's personal for me too, they stole my body and he's doing bad things with it. And? You're beating him up. Said Goku, who no longer knew what to say, so that Trunks let him play too. However, Trunks didn't even listen to him. All his attention was back on the two Zamasus and on the technique he was about to use to solve his numerical handicap. What the? Exclaimed Black and Zamasu upon seeing that. Trunks had suddenly multiplied. Now there were 2 Trunks instead of 1. 2 Trunks? That's something new, but I doubt they are both as powerful separately as the original, said Black, that was really impressed, more or less. You have learned some very interesting tricks from this Broly. He is definitely a guy that I will have to study before I kill all the humans in every world, said Zamasu, who had just imposed on himself extra work to ensure that everything went perfectly in the next phase of his project. One of the many things that set him apart from the other Kais. Wait. This Zamasu comes from our future, but he doesn't know Broly at all? Since when is that bastard so inconspicuous? Vegeta thought, who thought he had heard something very strange, something that for some reason didn't make sense considering how infamous Broly was, especially with the Kais. However, since Broly was the mass grave of all the nonsense, he ignored that unimportant detail and continued to enjoy the fight. Meanwhile, the 2 Trunks was about to fight the 2 Zamasus. With the skill Broly taught me, I can divide my body, but also my power proportionally, something that leaves me more vulnerable. However, I need to do it to separate them. By logic, Black is much stronger than Zamasu Kai, but even so I shouldn't underestimate him. He is without a doubt the strongest and ruthless Kai, besides his powers are a real nuisance, and if I'm not strong enough he will be able to escape. 65% will go with Black and 35% with Zamasu, Trunks thought as he pondered his strategy. And then Trunks started the next round with an energetic attack. Phew. An energetic attack with which he had no intention of hitting either Black or Zamasu, but the ground around him. Boom. An energetic attack that raised an incredibly thick smokescreen. A smokescreen? What a poor trick, said Zamasu, disgusted by all that dust and sand that had risen, dust and sand that would surely stain his face and divine clothes. When suddenly, he noticed something strange. Boom. Something hit him hard on the back. Crash. A blow that sent him flying against some buildings, thus separating him from Black. And when that smokescreen cleared, Zamasu could better appreciate what had happened. A Trunks was fighting Black, preventing them from being together. Right where he had been hit, another Trunks looked at him with contempt, and next to him. Another Trunks? What? How is it possible? There was another? Zamasu thought in dismay as he tried to understand what had happened. What had happened is that Trunks used a smoke screen to hide that he had created a third clone of 15% power from his 35% and teleported him to attack Zamasu by surprise. Since all their senses would be focused on the two Trunks they had located before the smoke screen was created, they would not realize that a third Trunks could be created and would attack them by surprise, and at such speed, it was as if he teleported behind him. After all, they are only aware of the two Kiss away from that third Trunks, which would act as the distraction. And now that third Trunks merged with the other one who wasn't fighting Black, and was flying in the direction of Zamasu. Without doubt a great plan to separate the weak healer to prevent him from healing the tank and DPS and kill him at the same time. However, the healer on this occasion did not consider himself weak. Do you think I'm weak because I don't have a Saiyan body? You are very wrong, said Zamasu to the Trunks that was about to attack him as he performed again his telekinetic trick to immobilize Trunks. Such annoying powers, if I had all my strength, Trunks thought as he escaped from Zamasu's control, which was recoiling like a cockroach. This would certainly be a very annoying rival to kill if he was subject to so many limitations. The limitations on the strength of this body by dividing into two, and of course the limitations that Broly had imposed on him. Until now. Trunks. If your opponent uses strange weapons and powers, you can also use your sword. You have my permission, said Broly's omnipresent voice, who considered that it was the opportune moment for Zamasu and Black to feel despair. And those were words made Trunks very happy. All right, Trunks said as he unsheathed his characteristic sword that he usually carried on his back. Something that made Zamasu laugh. Ha. Do you really think an ordinary weapon L will change anything? Said Zamasu, mocking Trunks and his grungy sword. That's his secret weapon to defeat him? Should he be afraid or something like that? We can check it. Aha! Said Trunks, charging towards Zamasu with all his might with the firm intention to stab Zamasu's rotten head with his sword. However, Zamasu didn't seem to be impressed or scared by that direct attack towards one of its vital points. Idiot, controlling a weapon is much easier than controlling a human body. Trunks was simply charging straight at him with the sword pointing to his head, so Zamasu only needed to take control of the sword with his telekinesis in order to deflect the attack or even reverse it towards Trunks. But suddenly Zamasu realized something strange. For some reason, he couldn't control Trunks' sword. Damn. What the hell is happening? It's not late yet, I can dodge if. Plash. However, before he could even finish that thought, he noticed something strange in his chest. His head had been stabbed by something that was still stuck in it, yet Trunks' sword was still a few meters away from him. Not only that, his charge had stopped, as if he had achieved his goal. What the hell was happening? It's not an ordinary sword, Trunks said as he revealed his great secret. Suddenly, after saying those words, Trunks' sword that was several meters from Zamasu lengthened several meters and appeared stuck in Zamasu's head. Or rather, Trunks' elongated sword that had already been driven into Zamasu's head previously became visible to others. And after that, he returned to its normal size, dropping Zamasu's body to the ground. Plaff. And at the same time also, the jaws of all those who weren't Trunks and Broly. What? shouted Vegeta, Goku, and above everyone Black upon see that sudden instant dead by such an unconventional method. An invisible sword that stretches? Since when do you have something like that? Said Black, stunned again upon discovering another secret ability. You gave it to him, Broly-san asked Vegeta, who suspected that this unconventional ability was due to his arch-enemy. Yes and no. This sword is 100% owned and created by Trunks. I only gave him the means to create it in the same way that I also gave Gohan the means to create his curse ability, answered Broly, making a very shocking statement. A very shocking statement for those who understood its implications. You mean that? Yes, I have given my alternate stepson a gift that his alternate father could never give him with. I created in his body Enian nodes so that he would be able to use my technique. He is a conjurer and his ability is to create a sword with extraordinary, but also ordinary characteristics. And among other things, it can increase its dimensions. Making it invisible is something that every other conjurer can do with Ian, but he has applied it very well. He has only used the Ian in the part that he has lengthened of the sword, turning invisible so that Zamasu wouldn't realize his ability and that he was about to be impaled on the head by it. For him the sword never lengthened, answered Broly, doing a little summary of the ability that had granted to Trunks and Vegeta not. Something that according to Broly made him a million times better father than Vegeta. I didn't expect less for my son. Says Vegeta, who intelligently avoided competing with Broly in that no sense. And meanwhile Trunks 35% wiped the blood from his sword and looked in the direction of the battle between Black and Trunks 65%, well, one less. He had already finished the weaker and at the same time annoying of the two Zamasus. Now only Black was left, and as 65% was crushing him again, he just needed a little help to finish his revenge and he was planning to give it to himself right now. Now I just have to merge with my other 65% and... Slash. Nevertheless, suddenly someone attacked him from behind with an energy sword. Clash. An attack that he couldn't completely avoid, the most he could do was avoid being attacked at vital points. What the hell? Trunks shouted as he walked away from his mysterious assailant. He never expected that in that devastated world with only one living enemy someone would attack him from behind. However, what he never imagined is that whoever attacked him would be precisely the one whose skull he had pierced a few seconds ago. You have a very interesting weapon there. Do you mind if I keep it? Said Zamasu, which despite failing his surprise attack wanted to make himself shine with that empty phrase. Wait, how can you be alive? I clearly pierced your head, asked Trunks, representing Goku and Vegeta too. And of course Zamasu replied, in fact he was eager for someone to ask him. It is a fairly simple answer. I know that I'm powerless compared to you people. However, unlike my other self, I would never lose my divine abilities in exchange for power. That's why I became immortal. I see. It's quite unfair to tell the truth. Trunks said that unlike Vegeta and Goku, he took that hard hit quite well. For a simple reason. Nom. Fortunately, I brought senzu beans in this body as well. Otherwise I would be forced to share damage and loss of energy with the rest of my body, Trunks thought as he ate the life-saving article from this manga, thus healing their wounds and restoring all energy. Another quite annoying item, Zamasu said, feeling quite frustrated. He had earned those wounds with a lot of effort and one of his infinite lives. That's why. FLIU. What? My senzu. Shouted Trunks upon notice that something was missing in his pocket. Instead, they were in the hand of Zamasu, who had teleported them. Convenient, aren't they? My divine powers. Do you understand why I didn't want to give them up? Zamasu said as he destroyed the entire bag full of Zenzu bean with a simple energy attack. Now Trunks was left with methods to recover while Zamasu means were unlimited. Bastard! Shouted 35% Trunks in outrage upon seeing that he had been caught off guard again. He was beginning to understand why Broly hated the Kai so much. And seeing Trunks' bitter expression, Zamasu couldn't resist, so like every villain who thought he was invincible, celebrated his victory before his time in the most cliché way possible. HUA. Our plan is perfect. There shall be no mistakes. Wahoo. Slash. Ha. Until he was cut into hundreds of pieces without warning. You may not be able to die no matter how much it hurts you. But as long as you are unable to heal and assist Black, I will continue cutting you until I have no strength left. Then we will see what to do with you and your immortality, said Trunks as he kept cutting Zamasu again, 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 again and again in hundreds and thousands of pieces, tearing him apart at a speed greater than his regeneration capacity. Therefore, although Zamasu was immortal, the only thing he could do was wait for his body to regenerate. Damn. I cannot do anything. Zamasu thought, even though his brain was cut into small pieces as he tried to move his limbs and use his powers without success. And Zamasu should feel lucky. In this state, the fact that he could think was already a miracle only possible for the Super Dragon Balls. Slash. Slash. Slash ha. And while Trunks kept slicing Zamasu as if he were grated cheese, another battle was taking place not far from there. Pam. Pam. A battle that was also not in favor of the Zamasu team. Crash. Damn human. You and all of your kind only deserve to die. Zamasu yelled once more, complying with his usual pattern. A pattern that consisted of insulting the opponent when he lost. Keep wasting saliva, Trunks said as he brutally punched Black in the mouth. Pum. Crack. 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 Completely destroying all his teeth, something that would make quite difficult for him to keep talking. Wah! Zamasu screamed in agony as he vomited the remains of his teeth. To immediately try to find a solution to their desperate situation. Damn. I cannot take any more. I need to heal. Jamage. He tried to ask Zamasu for help just like on the previous occasions. However, apart from his difficulties to speak, he encountered another major setback. Zamasu was being torn apart at an alarming speed, a state in which he couldn't help him. It seems that your ambulance isn't going to arrive on time. And I don't have a car to take you to the hospital, said Trunks as he attacked Black again. Pum. Wow. When did Trunks learn such ingenious phrases? Asked Goku, that sometimes dreamed about saying things like this. He quickly learned everything I taught him, so I decided to delve into other matters for his training, said Broly, fondly recalling the 3 weeks of his favorite subject. Fight cool way motherfucker. Crash. Pum. Pom. But while Goku asked Broly for ingenious phrases to say at opportune moments, Black kept trying to survive Trunks' beating. Crash. Pum. Pom. And he was really desperate. It was only a matter of time before he died. Jamaged. I have to do something. I have to. I have to. So he bet it all on a single card. HaHaHa. He accumulated almost all the energy he had left in his body and threw it at Trunks in a single energetic attack. However, he didn't throw it at the Trunks who was abusing him. Shit. Shit. That forced the Trunks who kept cutting Zamasu nonstop to stop for some seconds to avoid that mortal attack. And that was all it took Zamasu to recover. Now or never. So when he was able to use his telekinetic abilities, he tried to bring all the parts of his body together as soon as possible to help regeneration go faster. And Kai Kai. He teleported once more to Black's side. No way. Trunks yelled 65% as he attacked both of them at once. Boom. But Kai Kai. Despite receiving serious injuries, the two Zamasus were able to escape like rats. Damn. Have they fled again? Shouted Goku, which was beginning to get tired of the cowardice of Black and Zamasu. They aren't far from here, said Vegeta, pointing in the direction of Zamasu and Black, who hadn't hidden their K yet. A somewhat unnecessary data, since both could detect them, that's why the three flew at full speed towards their direction. And along the way, Broly gave them the first big warning of that day. Trunks, from now on you can use all your power. Don't reserve anything. Goku, Vegeta, be prepared. I have a bad feeling. A very serious warning that gave the trio of Saiyans chills. Broly is worried? What the hell's is happening? Is another joke? Meanwhile, not far from there. Despite Trunks' multiple assaults, Zamasu was able to fully regenerate thanks to his immortality in no time. And thanks to his healing abilities as Supreme Kai's helper, he was also able to heal Black. Although more than healing him, he resurrected him. His condition was so fucked up that he looked like a corpse. However, that brutal defeat didn't affect Black positivity, motivation, and entrepreneurial spirit. Good job, although it took you a long time to get rid of it. I think that. But the other Zamasu for the first time didn't share his opinion. Shut up. You never said anything about something like this happening. If we team up, we'll be able to turn all universes into exactly how we want them to be. That's what you told me. Isn't it? But if you're not the strongest being in existence, then that whole plan goes to shit. Said Zamasu to Black, being somewhat realistic for the first time. His plan was doomed from the start. But Black, who couldn't take no for an answer, continued with his plan full of loopholes. Calm yourself, brother. We still have our last resort left, do we not? Tioch. That's right. Answered Zamasu, that got back in sync with his other self. It's true, they could still do something to solve this big problem. Last resort. What is he talking about? Asked Trunks, that he was finally able to reach the location of his enemies and heard everything. Trunks. Kill him now. Shouted Broly's omnipresence voice in alarm, after making sure that Trunks would be unable to carry out that order. Why? What were they doing that was so dangerous? They were just putting on some earrings and their ears? What? Shouted Vegeta, amazed to see that both Zamasus had attracted each other as if they were magnets of opposite poles, something quite ironic. Is too shining, shouted Goku, who covered his eyes due to the blinding brightness that the clash between the two Zamasu had caused. No way. Trunks yelled when he saw what was left behind that glow. You should rejoice, mortals. For it is an honor to behold this form. The one true god of all universes. Zamasu is finally born, said a new variant of Zamasu born due to the forbidden love between two Zamasus, or due to a fusion. One of two possibilities. Now, you foolish mortals, it's time to pay for defying God, said fused Zamasu, which we'll call Alabama Zamasu from now on, whose narcissism and arrogance had increased exponentially after the fusion. What is this? Asked Trunks, that had never seen or heard anything like it, especially about this aberration against nature. Have they fused? Asked Goku, who had a little déjà vu. That's right, there are more ways to use the fusion than a ridiculous dance like you guys do. Specifically, the Kais have the Podera earrings, which allow the fusion between two individuals who put them in different ears. Although it's not a very good method for mortals. If two mortals use this fusion method, will only last a few minutes, and the stronger they are, the less the fusion will last. That's why I taught you the ridiculous dance, it's the most compatible for you. If it's used with at least a normal Kai, it will last an hour. And if a Supreme Kai uses it, the fusion will be irreversible. Therefore, in an hour their fusion will end, said Broly omnipresent voice, which became even more omnipresent, since this time it also reached the ears and brain of Alabama Zamasu. What? Just an hour if I'm not Supreme Kai? Gaosu never mentioned that. Where does this voice come from? And how the hell does he know that? Said and thought the disappointed Alabama Zamasu as he looked from side to side in search of the origin of that annoying voice. Who the hell is he? He had killed all the Kais on this timeline and there were no mortals strong enough to stand up to him except Trunks, unless he knew. Had Trunks brought more people from his past? And if so, who's he and where was he hiding? And while Alabama Zamasu kept playing hide and seek with the voice in his head, Trunks drew his sword again to continue what he had started an hour. I don't think he can wait that long or that he's going to sit idly by in the meantime. Besides, one target is less troublesome. Wait, Trunks, don't underestimate the fusion. If it's the same fusion that Goku and I know the power and abilities of this kind of Zamasu must be incredibly powerful, Vegeta said upon seeing that Trunks showed so much confidence when facing Zamasu's aberration in front of them. His alternate son likely didn't understand the fusion characteristics, and that could be his downfall if he underestimated him. As an alternate parent, it was his duty to alert his alternate child. The fusion doesn't add the power and abilities of the fused, everything becomes exponential. And he has fused with himself, his fusion surely is very weird and compatible, Broly said, continuing his absurd competition to determine who's the best alternate father for Trunks, in which he was the only one competing. Okay. I understand, Trunks answered, more cautious after hearing those warnings. Just 1 hour? Enough to kill everybody. Said Alabama Zamasu, that was tired of admiring her body, for now, and attacked again. No way. shouted Trunks, who flew towards Alabama Zamasu to cut him with his sword again. The strategy was simple. Charge towards him at full speed and behead him with his unpredictable and invisible nin sword. The distance was correct and the timing too. Trunks only needed to make a lateral movement with his sword and Alabama Zamasu would be cut in two from his right shoulder. HaHaHa. However, when he was about to slice him, an invisible force stopped his hands, not just preventing him from delivering the final blow to his enemy, also made him lose control of his own body. An opportunity that Alabama Zamasu didn't miss to attack Trunks with a powerful punch in the face. Pung. A painful attack, but that didn't make Trunk retreat, who again brandished his sword against his hated enemy to cut him from bottom to top. However, just as Zamasu moved his hand in the direction of his hands. Again? Trunks yelled, seeing that his attack had been stopped once again. This was undoubtedly the work of Alabama Zamasu and his empowered telekinetic ability. Oh no. He's reflecting the trajectory of all his attacks, said Goku, worried about the development of the combat in which Trunks didn't let him intervene. Trunks' sword can be lengthened and become invisible. Without a doubt, it's a fearsome weapon, since it's impossible to predict its range. However, if the sword was stopped or deflected before pointing in the direction of its opponent, those annoying and unpredictable characteristics didn't matter. That was precisely what Alabama Zamasu was doing with his telekinesis. And although Trunks fell twice on the same stone, he get up quickly, fading his sword to launch an energy attack from his hands. This. An energy attack that was answered with another energy attack by Zamasu. Boom. The two attack collided, creating a huge explosion. Kai. An explosion that Zamasu used as a distraction to attack from behind with a roundhouse kick to Trunks in the ribs, who crashed into the rubble of the city. Pung. He did. For the first time after Trunks' return, Zamasu was able to surpass Trunks in martial, tactical and magical power. And that obviously made the narcissistic Kai euphoric. So this is the power of the Pod era, so this is fusion. Cuckoo. Haha. Ha. Marvelous. Magnificent. Said Alabama Zamasu, screaming like a fucking cliché megalomaniac villain while Trunks cleaned his clothes from the dust of the rubble in which he had been buried. Trunks. Let us help you. Goku insisted, who couldn't bear this long wait any longer. Not. He's still no match for me, said Trunks, who shattered Goku's heart in 1,000 pieces again. However, Trunks didn't even realize that insignificant detail, his priorities were more important. And that was obviously killing Alabama Zamasu. Therefore, following Broly's advice, he used all his power and abilities. Kaioken X20. With that iconic ability, Trunks' power and speed increased, and once again Trunks charged towards Alabama Zamasu, this time with the intention of cutting Alabama Zamasu perfectly in two, from the head to the penis. Nanny! Shouted Alabama Zamasu, stunned by Trunks' new speed and power. This power-up wasn't within his calculations, so he wasn't quite prepared to stop Trunks' attack as he had done until now. But... Clank. Clank. With great precision, strength and above all, luck, Alabama Zamasu was able to stop Trunks' attack a few inches from his face with great difficulty. His effort was so great that all his muscles were in tension, the veins in his head throbbed as if they were pumping blood on their own, and even had to grit my teeth. He had managed to stop him, but the struggle continued. Until... Die bastard! Trunks activated another of the abilities that his sword enclosed. Suddenly the sword that Alabama Zamasu was trying to stop multiplied its weight several billion times. And Alabama Zamasu was cut in two. Damn! Shouted Goku and Vegeta, regretting that his chance to fight had possibly expired. Finally, Trunks said, celebrating this victory with some caution. He learned from his mistakes and didn't dare to assume that this was the end. A wise decision, since Alabama Zamasu's sliced body regenerated in no time. What a relief. My immortality is perfectly intact, said Alabama Zamasu, relieved to see that the immortality of one of his selves had been applied to this other body. This was certainly great news for him, but not for Trunks. Damn it! Shouted Trunks, that just like before, tried to slice Alabama Zamasu into 1,000 pieces to prevent his regeneration. Slash. SLAH. However, this tactic was no longer as effective as before. Not only Alabama Zamasu already know this tactic, now his regeneration speed was higher than before, and above all his combined martial and magical power allowed him to avoid many of Trunks' attacks and counterattack at the same time. Cut me as much as you want, in the end I'll be the one who survives. Ha 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 ha. Nothing can beat me in this state. I am perfect. Shouted Alabama Zamasu with his typical cliché villain with a new super power-up statement. However, that didn't discourage Trunks, who kept cutting with his sword and blasting Alabama Zamasu with his energy attacks. Whom, except for dodging the attacks that could put his immediate fighting ability in trouble, played completely on the offensive. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. Begone fucking mortal. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. Die cockroach. Both attacked each other over and over without any strain, hitting each other, cutting each other, blaming each other and insulting each other over and over again in an almost endless sequence. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. You and your race is a caner in my universe. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. You are the cancer cell that the whole body wants to get rid of. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. And while that was happening, Broly and the Toy Bois maintained by their women commented on the game. This is bad. On top of his battle power rising. He's an immortal with unlimited energy and stamina too. Said Vegeta, watching how the deadly wounds that his alternate son inflicted lasted less than a second on the disgusting body of Alabama Zamasu. Even though Trunks is stronger than him using his Kin and Kaioken, his energy and stamina will be exhausted sooner or later. Black is totally going on the offensive, attacking with everything he has without caring about the fatal wounds Trunks is inflicting on him. But Trunks can't afford that luxury. Goku said upon figuring that sooner or later Alabama Zamasu will win over the exhausted Trunks. And even if he manages to hold out for an hour and kill Black later. What the hell do we do with Zamasu? We can't kill him and he can escape with his teleportation ability and the time ring. He can go practically anywhere at any time, said Vegeta, pointing out another of the problems they might face after overcoming this great initial problem. Curse. Why did Trunks have to inherit your pride? If he had let us fight, this wouldn't have happened. Said Goku, very upset for not being able to fight today, therefore he paid his frustration with the possible indirect responsible of this situation. Now is it my fault? Vegeta protested, who was just as frustrated as Goku, or even more. It's always your fault. Said Broly, who never missed his chance to mess with Vegeta. The situation was quite bleak, so much so that even Goku was forced to think of a strategy that possibly contained a strategic retreat. This is bad. At this rate, we will have to go back to the past and find a method to beat him. Wait, maybe the Mafuba. Clash. Slash. Pum. Pash. Prosh. And finally the clash ended, for now, in a fairly equal way. Slash. Pum. Although Alabama Zamasu would be the real loser by court decision, of course, he had taken more fatal blows than Rocky in Rocky 1. However, he was in better shape than Trunks, who was the one who gave rather than received. Damn immortality. If it weren't for it, you would have died dozens of times, said Trunks, extremely disgusted with the cheat ability of Alabama Zamasu. Not only was he impossible to kill, every time he was mortally wounded his Zenkai activated, becoming stronger every time. Therefore the repetitive and cliché villain Alabama Zamasu said again, it's perfect. It's too perfect. It's better than I'd even imagined. This overwhelming power. This is it. This is what I've been searching for. The era where powerless gods reign freely is over. And while that was happening, in the timeline where our protagonists resided, the public reacted to Alabama Zamasu's repetitive and heated speech. Well, at least that's positive. No offense, Shin, said the Broly on the normal timeline to Shin. That didn't look at him with much affection. Don't worry Shin, we all know that you aren't as useless as Broly wants you to believe, said Yamcha, trying to comfort one of Broly's bullying targets, just like him. Although that comment depressed Shin even more. Again in the apocalyptic timeline of Trunks. Alabama Zamasu was still exalting himself as he had never done before, at least not in public. He just only needed to suck his own cock to surpass the level of narcissism and megalomania that I was demonstrating right now. The countless gods of all the planets, the Kai of the North, West, South, and East, the 12 universes supreme Kai, and the gods of destruction. None of them are needed anymore. I'm the only intelligence that need exist any longer. But unfortunately for him, he bumped into the sole of his shoe. If you are the only intelligence in the universe, you mean your only recourse to relive yourself is to get sucked by a goat? An alligator turtle? Yourself? Yourself? Well, it's quite likely you're a guy who not only team up with himself and fuse with himself to kill everyone other than him and himself. I'll wait, you are born from a fruit. I haven't said anything. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Ben Phillips. If you liked the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll stay here until next time.